Yeah! That's right, it's that simple. 2 clicks, 1 sentence, boom!
You want Lord of the Rings to look like Ponyo. You want Dune to look like Attack on Titan. You know what to do. You know what to say. Say it with me now. 2 clicks, 1 sentence, boom!
It's the data set. Mine's so full, what they gonna complain about now, huh?
Hello people. Look, I know this topic has been beaten to death. If you're like me, you're pretty much sick of not only all the artificially generated images that seem to proliferate our algorithm platforms, but also the sheer number of people that just incessantly talk about it. For that, I'd like to apologize. I'm only adding to the seemingly never-ending discussion. But I'm making this because I think that in the very near future, I'm talking a year or 6 months or maybe even less, we're gonna see a whole new host of images and videos that only exacerbate whatever dreadful, exhausted, or maybe excited feelings you might get when you see stuff like this. And when we do inevitably see these things, I want to be prepared for it. I don't want to send myself spiraling like I always do every single time a new update comes out and AI-generated crap is once again pushed to the mainstream. I'm also making this video because this time around I feel like there's something new surrounding the discussion of it. A whole new group of people dominating the discourse. People who seem to revel in the disruption that this new technology will bring to these industries. People who seem to be operating with blinders. People who are indoctrinated into the cult of OpenAI. So on March 25th, about a week and a half before this video's upload date, OpenAI came out with their new 4.0 image generation. And like all of you, I couldn't get these goddamn Ghibliified photos off of my internet. They were seemingly everywhere you look, and they were as close as anything can get to being mainstream or viral. But as uncanny as it was seeing disturbing world events being turned into images with the same comic and harmless style that Miyazaki built his studio on, it was still nothing too out of the ordinary. Image generation has been good for a couple of years now, and I think we're all starting to get used to it. So to be honest, I was a little confused as to why this stuff was being pushed as aggressively as it was. Why was it becoming so popular? Then I saw a few more pieces of media that really sent me down the rabbit hole. The Lord of the Rings trailer, in the style of Studio Ghibli, uploaded by a self-proclaimed AI filmmaker. It is exactly as it sounds, a shot-for-shot resampling of the trailer with the original audio, but instead it essentially has a Ghibli filter applied to it. Or as many in the AI filmmaking community like to call it, a Ghibli vibe. What I find so annoying about these generations in particular is that at first glance, it's really hard not to be instantaneously amused. My brain immediately goes, oh, that's neat. I haven't seen that before. And I think we underestimate how important this novelty factor is to these images' popularity. And like with the Lord of the Rings trailer. Sure, it'd be cool if somebody made an even more detailed version of it now that was even better synced up to the audio. But the fact that we already have it pretty much means that a Lord of the Rings Ghibli trailer is never gonna go viral again. Or if something like that does go viral, it'll be because a different art style was applied to it. What's even more disheartening is a Lord of the Rings animated movie came out this year with beautiful animation, and yet nobody saw it. I bet more people saw this AI Ghibli trailer than people actually went out to go see the movie in the theater or rented it on streaming. Novelty, coupled with the pretty much endless supply of intellectual property and different art styles people can prompt to put onto that intellectual property means that, well, there's a nigh infinite supply of novel AI images ready to be prompted. Or at least unlimitedly novel images until we've all collectively had enough. Or until the number of AI-generated content greatly outweighs the number of human creator content that is consumed. I'm scared we're getting there pretty quickly. But here's the thing. All of these images, all of these videos, they're all stolen. I hate to break it to you AI filmmakers, but the process of screenshotting a piece of media and then running it through a AI and just prompting it to remix into a different style is not filmmaking. And look, I know it's a little rich coming from somebody that summarizes movies, but I guarantee you, the process of making one of these videos requires a great deal more human work, human creation, and originality. And And my videos aren't that original. To take someone else's footage and use a tool that changes it into an already famous art style by the world's most famous living animator, only to pass it off as a piece of work, or even better, a piece of art that you created by yourself, is completely ridiculous. Within that process, the human work required to create this media is only a minuscule fraction of the total work that's going into making it. In other words, you aren't doing anything impressive. The AI is. And honestly, I just don't care about the impressive things that AI can do anymore. It was novel at first, but it's like being impressed that a car takes you from point A to point B. It's simply completing the function that it was designed to do. I don't know why it was designed to perform this function, but here we are. And I'd also like to add that I don't really think the AI is doing anything that impressive either. Now, I'm sure you could say, what the hell are you talking about? 5 years ago, if you saw this, you would have been absolutely blown away. But like I said, I think this type of media is theft. If someone were to painstakingly draw these frames into the Ghibli art style, that would be impressive. Within the image generation process, there's little to no human involvement whatsoever. It's just a few prompts and a few dollars spent on these premium models. It's someone who likes a couple of different IPs. Or, if we're being totally honest, it's someone who knows which IPs will go viral on the internet. And all they're doing is saying, make this thing look like that. These models have been trained on artist footage without their consent. How would it even know what the Ghibli style is otherwise? And if you aren't totally sold on the idea that this stuff is theft, well, here's another more recent example reposted by the very same AI filmmaker. And sure enough, this is just a shot-for-shot remake of an original ad created by a talented filmmaker on set with presumably a dozen other technicians and artists, which then went into the hands of other talented VFX artists. If you trace over somebody's painting and call it your own, we all say that's plagiarism. AI just automates that process on a larger scale, so why aren't we doing the same with this stuff? So, why are all of these images, AI stuff being so valiantly defended by swarms of online people? Also quickly, I just want to add, I'm not someone that's totally principally against AI in general. For example, look at this video from what one person was able to do with an AI tool. It's still a human filmmaker trying to fulfill his vision, but he's using this tool to make up for his lack of resources. But we all know that these examples are going to be the exception to the rule. For every genuinely interesting application of AI in the creative world, there will be tens of thousands more pieces of garbage that get reproduced on our timelines, feeds, and recommended pages. Like all that Ghibli stuff that we saw for like 5 days straight. I got a few comments on some of my recent videos. So happy to see a real person. Glad that you aren't an AI clone. At first, I didn't really pay much attention to these. You know, I'm a small channel. I thought they were just being nice and supportive. But I recently dug a little bit deeper and I realized they were being completely genuine. They were really glad that I wasn't an AI clone channel. The fact that people are even saying that should be alarming to you. There are entire channels of completely AI-generated crap circulating all over YouTube. It shows you step by step how to generate this type of media. All it takes is an hour or two a day. Who wouldn't want to do that?
But I think I should add the caveat that with a lot of these channels, there is a person behind it operating it who are just trying to make money, who are just trying to make ends meet. And so from that perspective, I do understand the desire to make these kinds of channels. But at the same time, we have to take into account the negative effect that it has on the consumer, us, the people watching it, and the people exploring these algorithms and these platforms.
And it's only going to grow and grow and grow and grow
and grow and grow and grow and grow.
This is the exact opposite of sincerity. The opposite of being genuine. And it goes directly against YouTube's long forgotten slogan, broadcast yourself. There is no self on these channels. There is no humanity. I'm sure you can imagine how worse it's gonna get on YouTube Shorts, Reels, and TikToks. In a year or two, it's gonna be nigh impossible to determine whether something was generated or if it was actually broadcasted by a human being. I talked about this a little bit in my other video, why nothing feels real anymore. This type of stuff is only going to exacerbate that issue. When all we do is consume media, and all the media we consume is generated by an artificial intelligence, someone sitting behind a keyboard and prompting a few words, or better yet, AI so advanced that it's able to make the prompts themselves. It's able to edit these videos themselves, post it, get millions of views. When all we do is consume that type of media, it's gonna be hard to find the humanity within ourselves. And the reason I call this the cult of OpenAI is not only because people have been indoctrinated into believing in AI media across all different platforms. It's not only because all these people seem to have no issues with what is going on, not only because they seem to celebrate the loss of jobs, identity, and work that's going to take place. They're clamoring for more sludge to be poured down their throats, more philosophy and psychology videos to be fed that are created from ideation to publication by something that hasn't spent a single waking moment being human. I call it the cult of OpenAI because the company itself is operating with a mission statement that is directly ripped straight out of a cultist's handbook. If we take a look at the article posted by OpenAI, they pretty concisely highlight all the new improvements with the 4.0 image generation. But what I find really interesting are these human-focused videos, which conveniently lay underneath the examples of totally lifelike fake-generated photographs. Each of these advertisements tries to work within the framework of a documentary. The cameraman talks to the engineers and computer scientists as if it's a totally organic human relationship.
How's it going?
Pretty good?
Real people showing off their real humanity, their real work, which just so happens to be a robot sent to replace all the work previously done by humans, but we'll just ignore that. But they highlight human stories while simultaneously devaluing human work. It's off-putting. And if you spend time looking around on OpenAI's website, you'll find a lot more bizarre stuff. In most of their posts, they reference their CEO's article, The Intelligence Age, as if it were some type of holy text. In the writing, Sam Altman envisions a transformative future ushered in by artificial intelligence. He suggests that in the coming decades, AI will be able to generate feats previously thought of as unheard of or magical by previous generations. Altman portrays AI as the catalyst for unprecedented human prosperity, saying, "Everyone's lives can be better than anyone's life is now." It all sounds great, but the idyllic narrative, coupled with the flowery language and warmly colored AI-generated impressionistic pixels, bear a striking resemblance to promises made by a salesperson, or the words of a sermon coming out of a cult leader's mouth. If only we all surrender ourselves to the AI, everything will be prosperous. Our children will know abundance like no other, and nothing will ever hurt us again. Altman positions OpenAI as the steward of this utopia, implying that supporting and investing in OpenAI's endeavors, society can ascend to the envisioned era of abundance and enlightenment. But of course, how can our utopia be actualized without the necessary donations? It's simple. You only need to give up your work and your humanity. Don't worry, it's all laid out here in this 14-page economic plan OpenAI has wrote for the US government. You see, in this cult of OpenAI, it's not just the lives of a few hundred impressionable youths or at-risk people. It's entire countries. It's societies. And I worry that we're all gonna drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak. OpenAI operates on a global scale, wielding significant power and significant resources. The company's narratives and initiatives have the potential to shape entire national policies and international strategies. They have the power to effectively guide the trajectory of technological and economic development worldwide. And they want us to believe that AI is human. They want us to embrace it and not to question it. But we should be questioning it before it replaces us completely. And look, I just want to reiterate it. I get it. OpenAI wants to do cool stuff before all the Chinese companies can do the cool stuff first. But man, I just wish it didn't mean killing off the entire film industry and creative worlds in the process. My prediction is in about a year's time, we're gonna watch a completely AI-generated film, and enough regular people are gonna really like it and never want to spend money to go to the movie theaters to watch a original film, or even just a studio film ever again. That's just my pessimistic thought. I'm a film person, first and foremost, and so that will always be the center of my thoughts. And right now, my thoughts on the subject are pretty grim. So please, if you're still here, if you're still sticking around, go support your local theater, go support your local artists. They really need it right now, and they're gonna need it over these next few years. I know there are enough of us out there to keep the human spirit alive. We just have to get off our asses and do it, right? Or else OpenAI's cultist rhetoric will win. The AI filmmakers will win. The people copying and reposting AI channels on YouTube will win. And everyone who blindly supports that crap, watching it and commenting on it and thanking it will win. I don't want that to happen, and I hope you don't either. Okay, that's a wrap on the OpenAI video. Hope you liked it. Next week, we're going to be talking about funny games. More specifically, we're going to be talking about why remake the film shot for shot. What does that mean, and what does it say about media and our consumption of media? I'm really looking forward to that video. And also, in regards to the AI stuff, I just think it's really... Look, this video might have been a little doom and gloom, but as long as there are people in this world, art will exist, film will exist. I'm not that concerned. You know what I mean? As long as there are people making stuff, and as long as there are people willing to watch stuff made by humans, and I think there always will, we'll still be okay. But that means you got to support these humans. So one movie that I saw recently, it was called Alan Sunshine. It's this really small movie made by this guy. This dude just made this movie. It's really good. It's out on, I think you could rent it on Apple TV. So I recommend you go watch it. That I think might be the future, you know? As all these tools get so accessible, there's going to be a lot of good stuff made by a lot of, on much smaller scales, made by groups of individuals. And I think those are the kinds of things that need our support. Do people really want their media to be bogged down and dumbed down that badly? No, we should be demanding, with all these great tools, we should be demanding better entertainment, better art, not this lazy sludge. Anyway, that's just my soapbox for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you on the next one. Subscribe!